There can only be one. I know this can be a heated topic for us comic book movie fans, but let's keep it lighthearted and most importantly have some fun. Share your thoughts in the comments, guys. Whether you're a Snyder fan or a Gunn fan, let's be DC fans. This video is going to compare them in a few different ways. First, we'll talk about the directing tones, their storytelling abilities, universe building, and those suits. These two are not as different as you might think. While they do share some similarities, they both have signature styles. They both make good movies. So we're going to first start with tone here. James Gunn, been entertained by sarcastic, snarky writing, dark humor, time after time. He's incredibly good at mixing dark humor and heart, subverting those expectations that we might have. He's got this knack for kind of making you laugh 1 minute and then hitting you right in the feels the next with some impactful moments about loneliness and family. We do know Gunn's heroes are messed up in their own ways, but that is what makes them relatable. His humor is part of how we connect with them. It's hard not to feel genuine emotion when Gunn starts throwing those emotional punches. Case in point, Rocket Raccoon and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. While we have yet to see Gunn's Superman, I know Gunn is going to subvert our expectations as much as Superman will with the heroes in that universe. I do kind of feel like his Superman will show more humanity even than the people in Metropolis. Zack Snyder has a tone all to his own. Snyder is all about epic moments, mythology, gravitas with a side of deconstruction. And his Superman is not just a guy in a cape. He's flawed, conflicted, and deeply human in his struggle to find himself. His Superman is a godlike figure who has to kind of figure out how to fit into a human world that isn't really ready for him. Snyder goes big with his visuals and provokes you to think deeper. We know how Snyder aims to inspire awe with the visuals instead of, quirkiness or silly moments. You get moments that'll make you stop and think a little bit. Just because Gunn's Superman isn't out yet, I do have to give the nod to Snyder on tone because Zack's tone works so well to distinguish DC from Marvel, minus a few issues, obviously. You got Lex Zuckerberg instead of Luthor. You got Superman not being concerned about the destruction of Metropolis. You have that Martha moment not landing and hitting home for a lot of people. So when we talk about comic book movies, Zack does an extremely good job at bringing them to life, right? Not saying that James Gunn doesn't as well, but my personal preference so far is Snyder's tone. Now, in my opinion, it draws you into the movie more, and it just feels like you're watching something important and exciting, even though it's just a movie about fictional characters. And I mean, this is why Snyder's DCEU movies have higher rewatchability for me. Let's keep an open mind for Gunn's Superman and see what kind of tone it has. Whose tone do you guys prefer? Whose tone do you guys prefer for DC movies? Let me know why in the comments. Storytelling. James Gunn, excellent writer. Does have a dynamic camera as well. James Gunn is methodical without being predictable in his storytelling. That's one of his biggest strengths, right? Interesting fact. Gunn actually wrote for Snyder on Dawn of the Dead. So it's kind of crazy how that's a beloved movie by most. Go figure, right? James has really carved out an uncanny ability to balance fun, absurdity with emotional depth. And while he isn't overly concerned with getting the perfect shot, he seems to be more concerned with making his stories relatable, making sure that it's a beautiful story, right? We've already seen his Superman bloodied and beat in that trailer. Gunn is known for using that dark humor, those dark moments, that moral ambiguity in his films in order to make payoffs hit home harder. He has a knack for making the fantastical feel intimate, for grounding larger than life scenarios in real human emotions. Gunn also excels at character development, whether it's Talking Raccoon, jaded anti-hero. Gunn finds a way to make us care about terrible people, misfits, misunderstood without glorifying them. James Gunn focuses on character-driven narratives with snappy dialogue and emotional arcs. And I mean, his movies don't feel like dramatic sagas, but they do tell big, crazy stories that make you feel. That honestly sounds like a great fit for a Superman movie, so I am excited to see what we will get from him later on this year. And when it comes to storytelling, Zack, we all know, is not a great writer. Snyder's a visual storyteller. His visual storytelling is probably his biggest strength. Zack Snyder honestly might be the best cinematographer working today. Countless beautiful shots that we've gotten from him, right? He layers context, subtext into the background, to the set pieces, even small details into the script. You know, his films are kind of like visual puzzles that reward viewers for paying close attention. So while this is amazing for Snyder fans, most people are not aware of all the lore or able to notice all these things on that first viewing. So things are easily lost on that general audience. Some viewers do find it dense and rewarding, but others can find it overly complex and heavy-handed, right? My biggest problem with it is the visuals don't always match the script. You know, his visuals will kind of make you believe things are going one way, and then that never really pans out. So biggest case in point I can think of is the Superman coffin end credit scene thing. You know, the dirt's floating on above Superman's coffin, but he's dead. He's dead AF, right? He's dead. He still needed help to be resurrected with the mother box. The floating dust, the floating dirt. Not sure exactly what that meant, other than like there's going to be another movie. But it definitely did not mean that Superman was alive, which at the time, that's what I thought. Regardless of all that, it's undeniable that Snyder crafts films meant to be revisited and dissected, giving his storytelling a unique depth. Zack also uses symbolic imagery a lot. Remember Superman doing the Jesus pose, you know, as he absorbs the sun, kind of underscoring his role as a savior figure. Now, while that is another polarizing take on the character, it did make for a sick shot, and it did kind of make sense as Superman gets that energy from the sun, right? This one, guys, it's got to go to Gunn. While Snyder does tell stories through layered visuals, grandiose symbolism, Gunn connects through relatable characters and heartfelt moments. Again, if they were to work together, it's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff, man. Next topic, it's a cool one too. Obviously, we got universe building, so this can get pretty complicated. We argue this out, we hash this out. James Gunn is shaping this new DC universe, the DCU as we know, all too well, right? He's taken a fresh and intriguing approach. He's starting the cinematic universe with Superman. It's a film where superheroes already exist. They're part of the world, right? The setup's reminiscent of the beloved DC animated universe. Heroes like Batman and Superman are already established. The focus is on their interactions, the broader world they inhabit, right? To me, that's a great sign if he can pull this off, right? Gunn's decision to start with a fully populated universe allows him to dive straight into dynamics of the world without making us watch the origin stories all over again. The odd thing about it for me, though, heroes have been operational and normal in this world, but we won't have all the League members in the first movie. Instead, we're going to start with some obscure characters. And so it's honestly a little less exciting to start with those lesser known characters before getting to some of the ones we already love, the ones we're waiting on. Of course, Wonder Woman, Flash, Cyborg, the heavy hitters, the icons of the DC universe. The lesser known characters, they're cool because they allow Gunn the creative freedom to explore new narratives and dynamics, kind of build up the universe in a unique way. But James has mentioned keeping things interconnected to a degree. That's something that I'm excited to see, because he seems to be taking it one film at a time. Making good movies is more important than making good post-credit scenes, and I think Gunn understands that. I'm still curious to see how this whole approach is going to pan out, especially with that whole Batman situation, which is a whole nother video. He's doing things differently, and that could work in his favor, right? Now, Zack Snyder, in my opinion, is an amazing universe builder. He had some issues with execution, some questionable choices. But Snyder was able to develop massive, intricate, detailed plans and endless storyboarding and lore, which kind of fueled his mythical take on the DC universe. Snyder took that monumental task on of trying to catch up to Marvel, and it was honestly really close to working out. We all know about that studio interference, right? Without all that studio interference from executives, we might be watching Man of Steel 2 already. Snyder started with a solo Superman movie, and he was able to bring us up to speed pretty quick with his core 7 in a Superman trilogy. Man of Steel was great, Wonder Woman was good, Suicide Squad might be a great movie if we got David Ayer's True Vision, Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition was good. I mean, these movies are the foundation of the DCEU, and they're all decent. Okay, so We know Snyder had plans past the Snyder cut, which was good, which was great. Take us to the nightmare future, to take us to Apocalypse to fight Darkseid. I mean, we know he had a planned solo Batfleck movie. He had a movie, for Cyborg, his original vision for the Flash movie, all the storyboarding he did. Snyder's method gave us an immediate sense of grandeur and urgency, but some kind of felt like it moved too quick. People just felt like it didn't give enough time to develop those individual characters. Now, with Zack, it's kind of hard to judge his universe building when we kind of realize how much the studios affected what he could and couldn't do, as well as the visions and the directions that these movies were carried out in. For example, what I mean, Suicide Squad, which would have most likely been a great movie if they let David Ayer do his thing, it's kind of ruined by executives, which in turn changed the direction that the universe went in with those following movies. So the more the studio interfered, right? So what do we know? Snyder had giant plans and he had already proven he could follow through on delivering with Batman v Superman, with Man of Steel, with the Snyder cut. He had already proven he knew the vision he was going for, and he could make a good movie with that vision. So I feel like if he was able to do that without everything else that was going on, it would have been fire, and it would have been good enough where we would have gotten to that next phase, right? So for this one, even though it's super tough, and I do want to hear y'all's opinion, but for me, I gotta go with Zack Snyder, just because the scope of his vision was so crazy, so thorough. I mean, all the storyboarding, all the different movies that were connected. I mean, this thing that he was trying to build, all the mythology behind it, it was massive, man. It was so detailed. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, as far as like universe building, I know that it didn't pan out the right way, but I want to go ahead and give the nod to him on that one. The foundational DCEU movies are all decent. If Snyder had a cohesive working environment, I think we really would have enjoyed the great ideas that he had for us. But I want to know what you think, so go ahead and share your thoughts with us in the comments here. And this last one is a fun one. Let's talk about the suits. Both Zack and James have brought their own interpretations to the table, and as expected, it sparked some debate. So break it down just a bit here. That James Gunn suit, the trunks, the fit, the S, he's not copying anyone with this one. This suit is not copying a thing from much, right? It's its own interpretation, and it's drawn from the New 52. Other than some other modern iterations, the main influence is the New 52, and so he's developed the look, and I like the primary colors. It's bright, it is playful, so it matches what he's going for. But it doesn't look like it has really any padding at all, so it doesn't pop. So Gunn he's been bold enough to give him the trunks. I respect the hell out of that. The stylized S has triggered some people. Mileage may vary depending on who you ask, but the collar adds to differentiate the suit as well. So I like the cloth texture, and that the symbol on the back of the cape looks cool. I like that. But as far as what you guys think, man, what do y'all like about Cornsfed's suit? What don't you like about it? Hit those comments, let me know. Now, Cavill's suit, as we all know, is regal. It's otherworldly. It's steeped in lore. There's no trunks. There's no belt. It's streamlined, polished. The thing makes an impression, right? Kryptonian glyphs, a metallic finish, kind of make the suit feel like it has history, like it's part of a larger culture. Now, this suit's texture and sheen give it a futuristic, kind of otherworldly vibe, which is cool. you feel, when you look at it, you feel like, okay, that was made on Krypton. Like, it's from Krypton. That guy is not from here. It's got that dark red and blue. It kind of reinforces that grounded, serious tone. You know what I mean? It just kind of sets itself apart from those more traditional interpretations that came before it. My question for every single one of you: if you could make your own suit, what would you take from each suit? I'm creating my suit. I'm going with the S from Snyder. It's a traditional S. I like that. I'm going with that. I'm taking the cape with the symbol on it from James Gunn because that's cool. I'm going no trunks, baby. I'm going no trunks. I don't need trunks. I'm going no collar. That collar, yeah, I don't need it. I just don't need it. My Superman doesn't need it, right? And then the color, I'm coloring my suit like Christopher Reeves, okay? You see what I'm doing here? So I got the fabric from Corn Sweats. I got the padding from Snyder's. I got Snyder's S. I got Gunn's cape. And it's colored like Christopher Reeves. Yeah, that's my suit. If anybody can make a picture of that for me, that'd be really cool. If you can make that, send it to me. So there you have it. How are you gonna make your suit? What's it gonna look like? Let me know. I want to know. Is it better than mine? I don't think so. I don't think it's better than mine. But who you got? Who you got for storytelling? Who you got for tone? Let me know. Anyways, that's been your time with me. Like and subscribe, man. I'll be back with another video. Y'all take care, man. Take care.